This process for me and my partner started almost 4 years ago. And that was deciding to open a business, selecting a site, and from actual site selection, which was December of 2009, my business opened in September of 2011. First and foremost, as a restaurant, as a business going to sell alcohol, the first thing that we did was make sure we could secure a liquor license. Going into business, what I was told in speaking with people, oh my God, Abra, what are you guys going to do? How are you going to pull this off? I heard it is impossible to get a liquor license. So the first thing we did was we got a lawyer. And so we went and got a liquor license attorney, essentially, who was a huge benefit to us. And so we made sure before we did anything that a liquor license was possible. And once we knew that that was a good possibility, we're located in Ward 5. There is a huge need for sit-down establishments in that area of the city. So the city was very willing to give us a liquor license, provided we were a good candidate. We applied for a tavern license, and just to give you a quick rundown, the difference between a tavern license and a restaurant license is basically I don't have to serve food, and that's why you'll see a lot of the places in Adams Morgan, they're taverns, they're bars. You go there and they're bars. However, for us as a neighborhood concept, the neighborhood needed a place to come and dine as well. But what the tavern license gives us, and where there's kind of a misconception in the public eye, is it gives us wiggle room as a business. My largest cost from a cost of goods is food. Believe it or not, most restaurants don't make much money on food. So when we went for our license, we applied for a tavern license. That immediately will send up red flags to the community. I heard throughout this process over and over again, we don't want our neighborhood to turn into Adams Morgan. Okay, fair enough, and that is a hard thing to combat in people's minds. So we met with neighbors, we talked things out with neighbors. Now, for those of you who go to restaurants and bars and enjoy them, you probably don't want one right behind your house. There's something that comes with that. So this is where you run into well, yeah, of course we want a restaurant in our neighborhood, but we don't want you to do this, we don't want you to do this. Can your employees not smoke in the rear of your business? Can you not throw out trash later than 10 o'clock, but not before later than 10 p.m., but not before 10 a.m.? So you get into this give and take with neighbors that is, it's tough. It's tough to go down that path and say, especially when I'm sitting with a space that's completely empty. I have absolutely no idea what the field conditions, how things are going to go during my business. I can just sit here and simply tell you that, no, I'm not going to go out and smash bottles at 12 in the morning because that would be foolish. I don't want to upset my neighbors. And the misconception for us as business owners was that, oh man, we really have to tread lightly with these folk, which is true, but also isn't true. People need to realize opening a business, you have rights as well. You have a right to be there just as much as the people who live in those houses have a right to be there. And Abra was great with supplying us with information about what we do have as rights. So we tried to kind of come to an agreement with neighbors. Unfortunately, we couldn't, so we went to arbitration down at Abra. We actually went down to Abra. The neighbors protesting our license, us as business owners, sat in a room and now discussed the same issues we'd been discussing, but with a mediator. And basically, it said that, how can you ask this of people who have not been in business? We have to assume people that are going into business are going to be good operators. And so we were given that benefit of the doubt, and that's truly what we were asking to begin with. Give us a chance. let us prove that, we'll do a good job. So the process went through. We received our liquor license we had our hearing in June. We had our license by the end of July. That license was then held by ABRA until we received our basic business license and our certificate of occupancy. So fast forward 3 months to the beginning of November. Beginning of November is when we had all of our designs, plans in place to then move forward with our build out of our restaurant. So we sent in our plans and applied for our building permits on November 7th. I got my actual permits to build on May 17th of 2011. What I had understood to be a sort of 6-week process, 6 to 8 week process, turned into a 6-month process. My hands, again, same start to the process was everyone telling me, oh man, DCRA is frustrating beyond belief. Get a permit runner, make sure that, make sure you have somebody do it because you're not going to be able to do it on your own. And I started out saying, well, no, we don't have the money, so we're not going to spend the money. So I went down just to pull a demo permit, and I spent 6 hours at DCRA pulling a demo. So we then got a permit runner, plans went in, we received our initial reviews of our plans for comments back in December. I then sent my plans back to my architect. We revised our plans, addressed the comments, and then sent them back in, which at that point the process was running pretty smoothly. We should then have probably received our permits sometime in January or February. Unfortunately, we ran into the holiday season, which is also something I don't recommend submitting for plans during the holidays. What then happened from there is many things happened. My structural reviewer no longer worked for DCRA, so then I went back to another review, which they re-reviewed the plans. I had to submit for comments again. My plans somehow, and this I blame myself, my plans somehow just were not on someone's desk. And so I actually had to go down and say, hey, what's going on with my plans? And it took a week for someone to actually get back to me and tell me, oh, well, we have them, they were misplaced. I then got involved. Every day I went down with my permit runner and, we sat in front of everyone. And so I sat in front of electrical, I sat in front of mechanical, I sat in front of structural. Structural became an issue because we had to involve our neighbor. We did everything by the letter of the law, sent them their plans, but for some reason our reviewer took it upon himself to contact our neighbor and get the neighbor involved. And every time the neighbor was involved, we then had to move, well, we have to wait for his response. We have to wait for his response. So finally, someone told me, you should tweet DCRA. And so I kind of looked at them and was like, what are you, nuts? So I did. I tweeted DCRA and I said, look, who do I talk to if I feel like I'm being treated unfairly in this process? Helder Gill is the man behind the tweets. He responded to me immediately. He had me email him. He called me within the hour. The next day, this was all sorted out and I had my plans. That, in my eyes, was amazing response, problem solving, and fixing a situation that had gone. I had a great experience at the end with DCRA. I had a great experience all the way through with ABRA. So I think, while there are some very negative things that happen, there's some positive too, and I think it sounds like both organizations are moving in the right direction to make things more streamlined, make it more accessible to businesses, and make it easier for people like me doing my first business. Now, having done it, it'll be much easier the next time.